welcome to the webinar on pharmacovigilance on behalf of the Astron Institute of International Studies. I would like to extend a hearty welcome to you all. And let me also introduce Dr. Niru Bhatia, whom you can see. She is the Executive Director of the Astron Institute. Thank you very much, Dr. Niru Bhatia, for joining us. And then today's the star speaker, I must say, is Dr. Gurbani. And Dr. Nirmal Gurbani, I will give the separate introduction about Dr. Gurbani a little later. But you see, my name is Dr. Ashok Kumar Agarwal. I am the former director of the School of Health Sciences at Indira Gandhi National Open University. And presently, I am also the advisor to the Astron Institute of International Studies. You see, the Astron Institute of International Studies is a pioneering institution, and it goes to the very high credit of the Astron Institute that it is the first institute in the country to get the accreditation from the NABET. As you know, the NABET is National Accreditation Board for Education and Training, which is one of the boards like NABH of the Quality Council of India. So this is a landmark achievement by the Astron Institute. And Astron Institute has also launched the e-college portal for the working professionals, health professionals, and other professionals. The courses, the e-college courses are pre-recorded video sessions of about 1 hour to 2 hours, 3 hours, 1 to 4 hours or 3 hours duration. And however, it is also flexible, and the people, those who are working, can join these courses. The advantage is that the courses comprise of various modules, and on completion of these e-college courses, you will get a certificate which has a lifetime validity, which is also having the global validity. So these e-college courses, if you go to the website of the Astron Institute, the website is, of course, www.astronecollege.com. So you will get the details, and I will really try to inform you and try to say that these e-college courses are very relevant, and you must try to go to the website and see which are useful to you. Now, let me take this opportunity to introduce the star speaker for this afternoon. He is a very old friend of mine, and his name is Dr. Nirmal Gurbani, Nirmal Kumar Gurbani. So Dr. Nirmal Kumar Gurbani, whom you can see is very much there. He is the, he has done his doctorate, PhD in pharmaceutical sciences. In addition to that, he is also a law graduate and also done his PG DHRM program. He is also a fellow of the IPA and is honorary secretary of the Rajasthan Society for Promotion of the Rational Use of Drugs. Besides, he is also the honorary advisor to the Rajasthan Medical Services Corporation, which is a government undertaking. He has been associated with teaching and managing a pharmaceutical institution for over 4 decades, actually. Besides being the dean and the professor of the pharmaceutical management at the IIHMR University, Jaipur. Dr. Gurbani has got many laurels to his credit. He has undergone specialized training on WHO as a WHO fellow at the management sciences of the management sciences of the health, Washington DC, and also on the rational pharmaceutical management, and is a key resource person with various international and national courses on rational use of medicines. Dr. Gurbani has also been expert on the medication safety, medication, and pharmaceutical management in hospitals. He has also worked as the technical coordinator, WHO India Essential Drug Program, 2004-2005. He is member secretary of the Rajasthan State EML Committee and Rajasthan State SDG Committee. He has also co-authored 10 books and various journals with publications, and he's an expert with Pharmacovigilance program, and today's topic happens to be the Pharmacovigilance, which is a very important program for the for the country, and also for the assessment of the associates in ADR, Adverse Drug Reaction Monitoring Centers, and the review of the SOPs in this regard. So let me hand over to Dr. Nirmal Gurbani for his PowerPoint presentation and also address. Dr. Gurbani, can you please also upload your PPT, and then, yes, upload the PPT, and then maybe, yeah, you have already uploaded.
Yeah, already.
Yeah, you have already uploaded. So the floor is yours, Dr. Gurbani.
Dr. Agrawal, Dr. Ashur Agrawal, thank you so much for giving such a detailed introduction, which I don't deserve. And you have been very kind to me always, and also very kind to remember me for this particular program also. I'm really grateful to you for giving this exposure. And without much of the other things, let's start with the main topic. As you all are aware, that innovations in the medicines have occurred and have improved the longevity. It has also made the comfort and reduced the agony of the treatment of the human beings also. Basically, the aim of the medicine has been to cure of most of the time, but that may not be always possible. Comfort mostly, and more important, console always. The medicine book of the Harrison say, the art of medicine is just to keep the patient in amusement, let the nature take its own course. But essentially, medicines are the fundamental basis for the treatment, and without medicines, we can't. Besides that, the advantage of medicines saving lives, improving quality of the life. The other side of the balance is also bothering. There can be ADR, dangerous ADR also. There can be medication errors. They are expensive proposition. Sometimes there is a misuse and abuse of the medicine in the society. That's also another aspect also. As early as in the 17th century, the French dramatist, when he was playing rather in humor, he said, to undergo treatment, you have to be very healthy. Because besides from your sickness, you also have to stand with the medicine. And no medicinal product is safe at all the time, at all the people and years. And we must always be very careful and understand that there is always measure of uncertainty associated with the medicines. And that is why the pharmacovigilance is there. The word itself is very clear. Pharmaco means medicine, and vigilance means we have to be watchful. And not only that, wakefulness is required. And throughout the life of the medicines, we have to be very careful. A medicine which might have been successful yesterday may be creating problem today. So we have to review the situations at every point of time. The WHO has defined it's the science and activities relating to the detection, evaluation, understanding, and prevention of the adverse drug reactions and any other drug-related problem. And this is required not only before the drug is introduced in the market, that is pre-approval product, but also post-approval also. And the adverse drug reaction, I need not dwell upon, but they can be mild, they can be moderate, they can be severe also. And there are again various types of the ADR, which is a different scope of the different topic also. So the major aim of the pharmacovigilance program is just to early detection of unknown safety problems, its frequencies, and quantifying the risk, and also preventing it from the further losses, and above all, the rational use of the medicine, rather safe use of the medicine is the basic aim of the pharmacovigilance program. This is how it has created a scene. You see, as early as in 1961, a new drug was introduced in the Europe, that was thalidomide. European authorities approved this drug for the nausea, vomiting. Besides that, it was causing sedation also. So after taking the tablet, one could sleep also. So, but unfortunately, US FDA did not allow that time. They said we want more data on that also. And in European nations started using this drug. And you see what happened, those ladies who were pregnant, feeling nausea and vomiting, they started taking medicines. But you can see the results. That's called like the fecomelia. And without limbs, I mean, you can imagine the life of these children in course of time. And even when they were raised, they're having a lot of problems. So it was social and mental trauma that triggered the thought on the medicine's use. Earlier, efficacy was the main issue. The drug has to be effective. But now the efficacy is on the back seat. Now the safety is the prime. So that started thinking on that. So again, as far as the WHO has again clarified two terms, adverse event and adverse drug reactions. Now, during the treatment, patient can become much more serious, can face more problem also. But when the problem is not necessarily associated with the drug, it may be called as the drug. It may be called as the adverse event. However, when there is a causal relationship, and you can relate that the problem is because of the medicine, and it is only because of the drug, then this can be termed as the adverse drug reaction. And there can be many kind of the problems, and that gives us in that even when the product is introduced, there should be vigilance on the product. And that is also called as the post-marketing surveillance. Other term is also used, that is post-marketing epidemiology. So that requires assessment of the adverse reaction, dependence, drug interaction, tolerance of the medicines, increased cost, quality of the medicine. When more number of products are there, counterfeit could be a problem, and cost assessments are also the related issues. Now that has established the ground why we should go for the pharmacovigilance. First is the humanitarian consideration. Insufficient information is also having a serious concern on the efficacy and safety of the medicines. Whenever a new product is introduced, it has to undergo animal experimentation, followed by clinical trials, that is phase 1, 2, and 3. And you can see that in phase 1, only limited number of patients are used as a volunteer. Phase 2, little more, and phase 3 is still some more. And this is also done in a limited set of population with the limited size. And sometimes the size is not more than 5,000, and sometimes it is as low as 500 also. And besides that, it is done in the narrow population. There are lots of inclusion criteria and lots of exclusion criteria, sex, other conditions, pregnancy, so that it is given in the limited set of the population. And once it is given in the approval after 3 stages, when first stage is clear, second stage is cleared, third stage is clear, market authorization is issued, and the products come in the market. Then you see that lot many products have been immediately withdrawn after the introduction because of the immediately knowing these are the side effects, adverse events, adverse drug reaction associated with the product. So another reason is that medicine is supposed to save life. There is an old saying, dying from disease is understandable, but dying from the medicine is certainly unacceptable. The data, unfortunately, in India, we don't have much data collection on these issues. But UK, Europe, US, Australia, there are established area that's in UK, they say around 6,000 people die every year. And in US, they say 4 to 6 commonest cause of death in USA is because of the adverse reaction. And these are the studies of early 90s. And thereafter, it has started making much more dimensions, and the situations is not encouraging as on today's data also. Then every 4th to 6th hospitalization in Australia related to the adverse drug reaction also. Then it's very expensive. This is the third reason. And according to US, the cost of ADR can be 130 up to 130 millions per year also. Then it's a very interesting UK studies that has been done on the 18,000 patients in 800 bedded hospital. And they say the 6.5% of admissions in the hospital are because of the adverse drug reaction. And they also estimated the annual cost touching around 500 million pounds per year also. Another reason is promoting rational use of the drugs and also saving life because of the saving life from the adverse drug reactions also. The rational use of drug wants that only drug shall be given only when there is an appropriate indication and not otherwise also. Another reason is to ensure public confidence. This is very important. You see, medicine is a very typical area. Everybody is not expert. Common person is not expert. Even those who have done specialized training, they may not be expert in that. And that is why there is a regulatory system, so that public health is not compromised. And public health is to be protected. So that is why WHO and calls upon every government to have a strict regulatory system, so that only safe products are there in the market, and irrational use of the medicines can also be prevented to the large extent also. And finally, the ethics. If I know that this product is going to create a problem, and even then I'm giving it to the patient, certainly it's a mischief and unethical. It's criminal as well also. So the idea of pharmacovigilance, that if you know that these are the side effects, these are the adverse effects, then it must be shared with the public. There should be information, public information leaflet, and leaflet for the medical practitioners that apart from the good use or the main indication, these are the also possible side effects, and one must consider it while prescribing also. Looking at all these things which were happening, the WHO started taking note of it in 1963. That means 2 years after the thalidomide disaster. And the World Health Assembly called upon WHO Essential Drug Program to take a note of it and see that in future we don't face such kind of a problem, such kind of disasters rather. So a consultation group started in few European countries, they started working, and it took a longer consideration, and lot many aspects were considered also. And they submitted a report. On that basis, the World Health Assembly in 1970 thought of promoting International Adverse Drug Monitoring Center uh, at somewhere. And then they asked all the member countries, all the countries who will take participation in that, who will come forward for that. And after many years of negotiation, 1978, Sweden gave a proposal that they are willing to start the International Drug Monitoring Center at Uppsala in Sweden. And thereafter, the WHO had an agreement with the Sweden government. And in 2001, it started rolling the ball also. It's the WHO has not given complete responsibility to Uppsala Center. You see, WHO Center, WHO headquarters also has a drug monitoring cell. And Uppsala International Center is there where all the reports from the different national centers comes there. So it's a tripartite program. WHO headquarters, International Monitoring Center, and National Center. In India also, we have a National Pharmacovigilance program, and in Ghaziabad, there is a Central Pharmacopoeia Lab, which is managing this program. Of course, that's a different aspect to discuss about how they are running the program. But essentially, the WHO is very much on it, and it has also encouraged that those who want to set up regional monitoring center, they can also start and they can be also encouraged. So apart from Uppsala Center, two African nations, Accra and Rabat, they have also set up the regional center, and they also work in coordination with the WHO. And beside that, national centers set up at all the places they are. WHO is providing full support, training of the manpower, equipment, software issues also, so that this program can run. You will wonder that a small country like Netherlands, they report at least 100,000 ADR reports per year to the International Monitoring Center. But unfortunately, in India, we have very poor record, and we are not even 1/10 of them also. So, but that requires a greater attention in India because we have large population, we have large possibilities of collecting more information, and our patient load is very high. But our participation in this program is pretty low also. So the main function of Uppsala Medicine Center, that's international monitoring, is the signal detection. That when it's reported, then signal strengthening. It's not the one report that shall create a problem, whether this problem is coming repeatedly also. And then also considering the national experience also. And besides that, it also goes into the things, what are the risk factors that has promoted this kind of ADR also. And then on the basis of various reports from different countries, they work on harmonization and standardization of the clinical practices also. So that makes it important that there should be a post-marketing surveillance. That means when the drug is into, after marketing, the product must be observed carefully also. So regulation require a periodic safety update reports. That whenever a new product is there, the company which has launched that product, every 6 months they have to submit this report, and at least for first 2 years. And then next 2 years on the yearly basis. But even after 4 years, if other things comes there, more information is there, the product can be reviewed, and suppose some risk factors are involved, then the prescribing indication, patient information shall be informed that these warnings are there, which are associated with the drugs also. So the idea is to identify suspected drugs, identify factors that contributed to the occurrence of the adverse drug reaction. And you see, during the therapy, large number of population is exposed. So there can be people are maybe associated with a more number of problems. More number of problem means more number of drugs also. More number of drugs, that means possibility of drug interaction. Then besides of drug food interaction, herbal interactions also. Sometimes excipients. Some people have allergy to certain kind of coloring substances also. So those things are also noted and reported so that in future, those corrective measures can be taken towards the patient safety. So in conclusion, we can say that monitoring of ADR is a responsibility of all healthcare providers. Besides that, a public participation, public awareness is also very important. Unfortunately, in India, public awareness is almost at zero level. But in European countries or Western countries, Australia, and in developed nations, people also participate. They immediately report that this has happened to me with this drug. So that also contributes to their knowledge and strengthening of the identification of the new ADRs and the strengthening of the signal also. So it's a very paramount importance that for the patient safety, ADR monitoring is a very, very critical issue. The early detection of ADR can save patient from suffering, and also to control morbidity to also some extent also. To finally close with the topic, I would recall the very important saying by the Buddhas that people who are vigilant, they don't die. And people who are not vigilant, ignorant, they are almost as good as dead also. With this, thank you very much for your patient hearing. And if there are any questions, you are most welcome. So it's open for discussion, now open for questions.
Okay. Now, well, the students and other guests, those who have any questions, are most welcome to, pose it to Dr. Gurbani. Are there any questions, clarifications you want to seek from him? I'll request Dr. Neeru Bhatia to say a few words, please.
It's actually a pleasure hearing Gurbani sir with his vast experience on the pharmacy discipline. It's actually pharmacovigilance is such a broad topic where there's a lot of in-depth into it, but very less people know more about it. And actually, and there's so much to it where it is something like a ocean where knowledge is actually required, but we don't have.
Yes.
And there's Dr. Gurbani has actually said a lot, and there's so much to learn from him. Thank you so much, sir. It was a pleasure hearing you. And we look forward to associating with you again, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Neeru. Thank you so much, Dr. Gurbani, for your wonderful presentation on pharmacovigilance. And as Dr. Neeru Bhatia mentioned, that very little is known about the pharmacovigilance, but it's really very important area. And with today's diversification of the pharmaceutical companies and pharmaceutical research, this becomes a very important area for controlling the aberrations, unethical practices, other things. So I think still, if you have any question, any one of you can quickly raise it. Otherwise, we can close the session.
Dr.
Yes,
Agarwal, I
yeah.
may also share by a few things.
Yes.
That initially, pharmaceutical companies have been very aggressive in marketing their product.
Yeah.
And they thought that they shall, since they spent so much on the research on them, they must get the recovery of the things.
Yes.
But lately, they have started facing civil suits for the compensation of
Mhm.
adverse death. So now the big pharmaceutical companies who are coming out with a new product, they
Yes.
are also very careful. For example, Rofecoxib, Valdecoxib, when they were introduced, they were sold like anything. But
Yes.
within 2 years, companies themselves withdrew their products also because they were facing lots of litigation also.
Okay. Yes. That's a very important area, actually. You see,
So,
yeah,
but,
please continue. Yeah.
uh, so it's very important that pharmaceutical companies should not rush into the launching the product with the limited information, and they shall launch the products when all full safety data is available. And
Absolutely.
that is why we have a regulatory system. The regulator allows phase one only after animal experimentation documentation. They
Absolutely.
allow phase two only when phase one is clear.
Yeah.
They allow phase three only when the phase two is clear.
Clinical trials.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, clinical trial. So it's very important that the safety of patient is is
Yeah.
utmost important in all aspects also.
Thank you. Thank you for highlighting this issue. Yes, thank you very much. And thank you, Dr. Gurbani. Again, we will probably from the Astron Institute, maybe requesting you for certain more areas to be covered and certain more, short courses or e-college, we have that just mentioned to you that we have the 2-hour, 3-hour video-based PPT programs in which we have the voiceover. So we'll request you also to please contribute to the e-college, some of the topics. Thank you very much.
Sir, actually, I have one question. I wrote it down in the chat box.
Okay,
Oh, you have
good.
written in the chat box. What is the question? Can you repeat it?
Yes, sir. So it is how we can register our hospital or a healthcare organization to with pharmacovigilance program or pharmacology.
Okay. You see, the pharmacovigilance program has been decentralized. There are regional centers. Besides the regional center, at every medical college, especially at government medical colleges, the district adverse drug monitoring center has been established by the National Pharmacovigilance Program, and they have given the funds, they have given the training, they have given the computers, software, and also the associate will be collecting data and forwarding it into the regional center. Regional center will forward it to the National Pharmacovigilance Center. And once National Pharmacovigilance Center will also analyze, one or two stray report will not matter. It is to be established. There should be more number of such reports, or there should be a cause must be investigated. So when that's called as the causal assessment, then only when it is sure that this is a definitely the risk concern associated with the drug, it is the report is sent to the Uppsala Monitoring Center. So best is to for a person or a hospital, they rather pharmacovigilance program is looking for the persons to be interested and sending the reports. They feel there is a lack of interest by the hospitals in spontaneously sending the report also. If I recall correctly, the friends working in medical colleges, they are sending their residents from ward to ward. Please send the report. But clinicians are so busy that they don't have any rather encouragement for sending the report or filling up the prescribed form and sending it to the
Yeah, I
center.
think probably that will answer your question. Is there any other question, please?
No, sir. Thank you so much.
Okay, so thank you, and thank you again, Dr. Gurbani.
Welcome,
Madam,
welcome, sir.
anything you want to add? Yes.
Sir, I wanted to thank Dr. Gurbani for the wonderful thank you message he has displayed on the slide. It's actually very nice, and it is something like motivating people and giving a powerhouse of strength people who are not vigilant, who are vigilant will not do not die. It's actually great. Thank you,
As
sir.
if,
It's a
as if they are
beautiful
bad.
message.
Yeah.
Okay, very good. So I think now we all can leave the meeting. So all the best to all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Agarwal.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay.